Now, leading our bulletin this hour, Kagiso residents on the West Rand are apprehending alleged illegal miners. Police earlier dispersed community members who blocked roads. Senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is in the air over the area and joins us live yet again. Good morning yet again, Aviwe. What are we seeing now?
So the community is still gathered in their hundreds in different groupings, Mfundo. What you see on the ground is just one of those groupings that it seems like they're now converging and talking among themselves. But they're different groupings all around Kagiso. And the one thing that's quite visible, even from the ground here, is that there is no police visibility on the ground. Of course, as the community communicated even yesterday, they did suggest that they would go on and conduct this protest and this strike action against illegal miners with or without the police. We see it's been happening for quite some time now for the majority of the morning, and we're not seeing any police on the ground. I'm going to ask the pilot just to take us to another location, because we've seen the shacks that have been burnt down, which we assume are the dwellings of the illegal miners themselves. That's the situation in Kagiso at the moment, as we see hundreds of community members that have come out in numbers, basically disgruntled over, of course, what they say has been the terror at the hands of the illegal miners in and around the mines of the West Rand here. In fact, we've seen similar operations even from police just yesterday, where they went and raided one of the old mines at the top of the mine there. When they got to the top of the mine, they saw how sophisticated that mining operation was, and went on to burn the dwellings of the illegal miners themselves. You can see even further down on the road there's another dozens of protesters that are taking to the street, going to block that road itself. You can see there are tires that have been burnt on the ground from the bird's eye view that my colleague Tamsanga Chamane is giving you at the moment. We're seeing even others moving towards where they seemingly blocking the highway here. I beg your pardon. So they're now converging, demanding that these illegal zamazamas be moved, because they say they've faced a lot of terror over the years at these zamazamas, given that they've rudely gone in from door to door, aside from the illegal mining operations that they've said to conduct. What you're seeing on the ground is another dozens of community members converging. This would detail just the numbers of pockets that we're seeing in and around Kagiso, where they've come out in numbers and they're saying that they're fed up. But the one visible thing is the lack of police presence that is non-existent here.
And it's very unfortunate that police have not made their way into, or rather inside, the township right now, because earlier on we had spoken to Nqobile and they were at least at the entry or exit of Kagiso, but nowhere to be seen inside. But insofar as the community is concerned, on interaction with some of these members throughout the week, it seems that this is a perennial issue that many were aware of, that the illegal miners are causing havoc among them.
I'm not sure if you are still on me, Funda. We're just struggling with the audio. You'd bear with us. But of course, we've seen a lot of police action and activity in the days that have just passed by. We've seen at least 150 illegal miners that have been arrested, in the majority from Mozambique, we were told by the police commissioner, and of course at least 81 of those appeared in court. But the one significant thing that we've picked up even from the provincial commissioner Elias Mawela yesterday is that none of those 81 are suspected, well, are official suspects as yet, that links them to that heinous gang rape. We're seeing this crowd now moving towards the shack dwellings. That would be interesting, given that we've seen the crowd in the course of the morning go and burn those illegal zamazama shacks there. I'm not sure where they're headed now, but they seem to be heading towards the direction of Kagiso, where we'd assume these miners live. Even yesterday when the police conducted those operations and those raids on top of that old mine, those illegal miners, I think there were about 11 of them, they ran inside the mines, inside the tunnels. You know how there's a whole entire operation underground there. They went inside and they came out of Kagiso. That's what we were told by the police commissioner, saying that he wouldn't risk his men following them inside those mines, because you never know what happened, given that there are those gas cylinders inside. But they do know that they reside in Kagiso. They had addresses. They arrested at least 24 yesterday. But what you're seeing now is the community going inside Kagiso once more, assuming that, because you can see that there's some sort of anger here in the crowd, carrying knobkieries, carrying shamboks in their hands. You'd assume that they headed towards the Zamazamas, and there would be some sort of chaos and havoc that would happen, as we've seen them burning these illegal dwellings of these Zamazamas here.
Aviwe, let's quickly just rope in reporter Nqobile Madlala, who's on the ground in Kagiso for us. Nqobile, what is the situation like where you are?
Well, Mfundo, just a few minutes ago, it turned very volatile on the ground. We saw community members coming from behind me, going straight to where Aviwe now can see them. They had apprehended some of the illegal miners, and of course, we're going to find out some more, because I'm joined here by community leaders and as well as the mayor. So I'm going to start with the community leader. Sir, we were stopped from recording and we were told not to record. What was happening?
Thank you very much. My name is Lebewana Lesotho. I'm a leader and a community member, activist within this. So what happened when we were at that side? The Zamazama says we were going to close those shafts and chasing them that way. They started shooting at the community. So that's why we said we don't want you near that place, because it was no longer safe even for you. Then that's when we find the community actually saying, Asina Valo, irrespective, if this is a revolution we have to die for, then they said they will go forward. Then that's how they were able to apprehend these other ones, Labababambili.
How many did they apprehend? Do we know yet?
Yes, it's about 13 to 15 Zamazamas that the community themselves, without the SAPS support, because now that was our main key word, to say when the community goes inside without the police, what is going to happen? But luckily enough, we have a very brave community within Kagiso. To be quite frank and honest, the police are failing us, and I will put it out there to everyone to say the police sector failing us. The police were notified about this meeting to come and manage the crowd so that we don't find any casualties tomorrow. But at the police here, no. You find the commissioner of the police, we spoke so nice. He promised he will send water trucks, everything. But today there's nothing, and his phone is off.
I mean, we saw when we were on the main riff, we saw the police dispersing the crowds from there. What happened then?
That's the thing. How can the police attack the community wherever we have a greater social issue of Zamazamas? When we went to the police station, we told the police precisely we don't want them to stand against us or us standing against them. But we want to be one thing, because this is also a social problem for even the police. They can't deal with them. Right now, their gold city in Soul City was destroyed by the very same community. They made it a point, they break down each and every structure, they cover the most holes, as much as we're still waiting for TLBs to go cover the main big holes.
Well, I want to bring you in, sir, as also a community leader. He's saying that they are waiting for TLBs. Does this mean that this continues then?
Yes, exactly, because of part of the operation that we came here for was not to attack or to apprehend the Zamazamas. We were here to close holes, and we have achieved that part. But like my colleague have just said, we are only waiting for the municipality to assist us to bringing the TLBs so that the main holes can be closed. But like I've said, we must support the community of Mogale City for not taking the law into their hands. Even now, it's almost an hour since we phoned the brigadier. His phone is off. We tried to call Mr. Mamawele. We can't reach them. We are trying to call SAPS to come and take these people from the hands of the community before they lose patience. Because like we've said, we've apprehended them. You were here with us. You were just here. There's a Mazamasa there on top of the mountain. But we have called to the community, and we are still pleading for the community for now. Let us retreat We don't want any casualties or any loss of life. We've seen them, they're here, the media have seen them. The international community must know we are being failed, we are on our own as a community of Mogale City.
What are these Zamazamas doing to the community, specifically in Kagiso?
It's a trauma, my sister. Like I'm saying, the gunshot that we had, that we're here, as we are closing some of the holes that they are operating in, they started shooting from the immediate holes. The ones that are apprehended, they try to escape through the other one, but luckily, like my colleague said, the brave young people within the society make sure that they apprehend them. Then there's Zamazamas, like I'm saying, it's trauma. They are raping young people, women and males, robbing. These houses here, they'll tell you.
Every day.
Every day there's house breakings, extortion to businesses. They'll tell you, each and every business here, when you go to buy bread, they'll tell you from under that leave that change. It's a norm. It can be a business as usual. And we've also said, today we are here to defend the gains of democracy and stand up for the dignity of this city, our beautiful city, and the dignity of our people, especially for the safety of women, since this is a Women's Month.
Well, so I hear that you're saying that they are doing so many things, but we saw when the minister was on the ground that there were also minors. So how is this maybe a syndicate? Because how do minors, like as young as 14, would do such crime?
You know, part of what we're interested in as a community is to get the report from the prosecution office to check if those minors, they are illegitimate, they are documented illegal foreigners. Like we've said, we are being failed by the system. The Department of Home Affairs is failing us. The Department of Environment and Minerals is failing us. SAPS is failing us. Our leaders are failing us because of the minister, by him having these reports. By now, the commander-in-chief, who's the president, was supposed to be here. All ministers were supposed to be here attending to this situation. And I'm also quite disappointed because yesterday, SAPS was giving a report that they are destroying their operations here. We'll give you even part of evidence that when the community today, there is a lie that was painted yesterday. We must support the community for today taking a stand and demolishing all the infrastructure that is happening. How
many areas are they working in Kagiso then, if you say that one bit or those various areas that the police could have been at, it's just a lie, it's a small portion? Yeah, it's a lie. They only went to one part. There's another part that will go with the mayor and public safety, with the community also, to demolish. There's another part that is still not yet attended, as your Nqobile area. In Nqobile, there's no operation done yet. It's business as usual for the Zamazamas. In 2 and 3, there are no operations, and we're even giving a tip of that. The Zamazamas were giving a tip of that today there'll be a operation from SAPS. They must remove their machinery and hide it somewhere. Who's tipping them off?
The community speaking out, because they can't go to SAPS and give that report. Then they're giving it to the community. Remember, like I said, the community is up in arms in order to defend its society and to also defend our freedom of movement and association. The gains of democracy on its own, like I'm saying, if we speak of the gains of democracy, you know the violation and the terrorism that these Zamazamas have brought to the community and society.
Just to come in a bit on that one, our operation is straight and simple. Just like us as South Africans, we are law-abiding citizens, right? So we just expect our law to do the very same thing. And if you could realize, these people have been here for years. We never had a problem with them. We as Africans, South Africans, we are very welcoming and receiving. They've been living with us, amongst us. But now, the problem is when they come into our community, harass our women, harass our daughters, rape even a man in front of his wife and kids. What does that do to that man's dignity? So then that's when we said, we will go out. If this is a revolution we have to die for, then let it be so. We cannot allow our women working in fear in Women's Month. So this Women's Month, we are calling upon all men and other townships that are facing the very same problem to say, let us rise to this uniformly. So no violence. We are not promoting black on black violence at all. Hence we said, those we've actually apprehended, we've been calling the police for more than an hour to come take them from the community.
All right, thank you very much. Those are the leaders in the community. Now I want to bring you as the mayor, sir. There's quite a lot that the community has said in this time. You can hear that the community is angry, but at the same time they want solutions. What have you seen, and what solutions are you now providing to this community in the face of what's happening?
Thank you, Nqobile. So in terms of community protection, I've said it countless times that the best safety mechanism and asset is the community themselves. It's a pity that incidents have to happen like this for reactionary mobilization to take place, but at the same time it can catalyze to a solution-based program. We need, when we do operations, to have it more coordinated and effective. So already 2 months ago there's a shaft running from the Shamdor yard into Soul City. Then the other encampment is referred to as Gold City, especially where the Zamazamas are. When we do operations disruptively so and destroy many of the pandukas, the Zamazamas then migrate to the other areas. It's why we have done a phased approach to go from the areas and then eradicate them entirety from Nqobile City. So when the community wants to do activities such as this, we need to have a more coordinated effort. For instance, all of the police were at the Shamdor yard that side, and then yet the community did an activity this side. So we need to have better coordination between both the community and SAPS. And in future, when we have operations such as this matter, we need to have a security cluster meeting beforehand so that we coordinate, we plot the phases, we know that it's going to be at this and such intersection. However, we do applaud the community for taking this matter in such a controlled environment, and we will be opening up all of the roads, and then going forward we're going to, with the relevant ward councillors, have a more controlled security cluster, and then we do operations as we go through, because what we've noticed as we do West Village, they are now migrating into Lewisham and Nqobile and such.
But Mayor, you speed past us. There was a reason why you were speeding past us. Where were you going?
So what happened there at the intersection, there was a casualty. It's still now under investigation, and somebody lost their life. I cannot confirm whether it is a Zamazama, although the dress does seem to be like that. But yes, there was someone who lost their life at that intersection there.
And are the police there now?
Yes, hence why we sped over there, because we got the report. A community member phoned us to immediately go there, and then that is why we cordoned off the area. It is currently a crime scene.
Now, Mayor, we have seen some of the community members going inside to Soul City, and we've heard from the community members here speaking to us that these are some of the issues that they're trying to get rid of, these areas of the pindukas, like what you're saying. But now what happens with the people that have gone inside now? Are they even safe in there?
Firstly, I don't want the community to take matters like that into their own hands. It leads to elements of vigilantism. Also, the Zamazamas often are heavily armed and also better trained in that environment, and it places the community at an incredibly dangerous point. So rather let the community support, give the relevant tip-offs where the locations are, and then allow SAPS, the security clusters, as well as myself, to do the operations, because now what's happened, we couldn't mobilize some of the TLBs because the contractor wasn't prepared to allow those assets out, given that they saw the unrest as something that wasn't as peaceful as we would like. However, going forward, we are going to mobilize more coordinated efforts, and then we humbly implore the community to also do more patrols, and then when they have a tip-off, they are welcome to send it to me or the relevant ward councillors, and then we have more planned operations in terms of that.
So what happens to the shutdown now?
Well, we are going to convene with the community leaders, then we're going to discuss. I think it's important to not have shutdowns, because people have rights to education, rights to employment, to get to their work, etc. Kagiso community is incredibly important to the economy of Nqobile City, given its important location. However, we do also want to ensure the safety of the community. So I think it is better that we do rolling community engagements, and then we have more coordinated security meetings, and then the community is the best placed standpoint to feed information to the security forces.
Lastly, Mayor, illegal mining is something that has been ongoing for quite some time. You can hear from the leaders and the community here. Why has it taken so long to get to this point where you come together with the community as well as SAPS, assuming that you have spoken to SAPS? Why has it taken so long? Why must it get to a shutdown before something is done?
So we have been having engagements. It's just that it wasn't so broadly publicized because there wasn't heavy media presence. Often the media isn't so interested in just filling a hole. We also have to caution, we have noticed that in these arrests, when we do the filling, we have to allow those people to exit the holes, or we'll unfortunately bury them alive. And in many cases, some of those are minors, not illegal minors, I mean minors as in under the age of 18. There seems to be definitely a syndicate happening in terms of human trafficking, and we don't want to unnecessarily endanger people's lives, because at the end of the day, we are all humans.
Do you perhaps think that it's time to maybe take it on a higher level now, maybe more raids like what the community is doing?
Yes, and also what we need is support from the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. There's an incredible amount of rehabilitation funds available, and we are humbly requesting, as a distressed mining community and town, that these funds immediately be unlocked, gazetted, so that we can have the necessary resources to rehabilitate all the areas. It's not only Kagiso, from West Village, Magaliesburg, Kromdries, Nqobile, there's Lewisham. We really need to address this matter, and it's a pity that it hasn't been addressed in the last 10 years, but we look forward to having a better and brighter, safer future.
All right. Thank you very much, Mayor, for your time, and of course community leaders here speaking to us. Vundo, you can just hear from their voices and the bits that they have told us that this has been ongoing for quite some time, but they're looking for solutions, and that's why the Mayor is here, and it seems they are going to come up with those solutions. But for now, we're hearing that the roads are now open, and that there is going to be conversations between the leader and the Mayor, and of course that investigation is still ongoing in terms of what happened to that one casualty that the Mayor has spoken to us about.
All right, Nqobile, thank you very much for that update. Let's actually rope in senior reporter Aviwe Mtila, who's giving us an aerial view now of Kagiso. Aviwe, what are you seeing from where you are? All right, it seems like we don't have Aviwe there. Perhaps we just need to re-establish that connection. But those are live visuals, as you can see, of some of the community members who have been burning shacks since the morning of what is said to be illegal foreign nationals who are mining in the area. As soon as we can get Aviwe, he'll just give us a better context on what exactly we're seeing or what is happening now. But you would see there a number of the community members congregated. We're not certain if they have apprehended any illegal miners right now.
On us, but what we're seeing on the ground is quite horrific. We're about a kilometer or two away from Kagiso and any form of civilization, in the middle of the bush, where at least a dozen Zamazamas have been rounded off. They are naked, Mfundo, and as they've been marched through the bushes here, they've been beaten up by the community members here. They are there. I'm not sure if you can see my colleague Tamsan Gachamane trying to get you a better picture, but they are now currently seated on the ground, Mfundo, as they've been marching through this forest, of course led by the community members. Not even far from here, they are still continuing to burn some of the dwellings that are around here. I'm not sure what's going to happen to these at least a dozen, what we'd assume are Zamazamas that have been rounded off. It seems like they're getting a talk to, but earlier on we're seeing them being shambled. What is also a bit concerning is one that I'd ask the pilot just to take us back to where one was actually laying on the ground. Not sure if that one would still be alive, but critically injured by the looks of things. He was just lying naked on the ground, not far from where we are, about some 300 meters away from the crowd that you saw there. It looks like he was unconscious, not sure his state of being, but there was also community members there, as you know, that as they moved through the bushes here, they were beating up the Zamazam. I'm not sure if you can see him still there. It doesn't look like he's there anymore, but let's go back to where that crowd is. Of course, that crowd that had shamboks in hand, they had knobkiris in hand, and the ones that have at least a dozen naked Zamazamas with them. It's quite concerning what's happening here, given that there are no police around, in and around. We're definitely in the bushes now, where this crowd is taking the Zamazamas, well, what we'd assume are the Zamazamas, given that they said the brunt of their anger and their community outrage would be directed towards the Zamazamas. They're now walking them through once more. You're seeing the naked Zamazamas now leading the pack of the crowd that you see here. Of course, the community with shamboks and knobkiris right behind them as they move on. We're not sure where they're being taken, Mfundo, but of course it is concerning, all of what we are seeing. It looks like now they're also looking in one of those holes that around these mines. Someone looks like he's going to go inside there. I'm assuming they're trying to root them out even further, Mfundo. And of course, concerning what we're seeing on the ground, the Zamazamas moving on what we assume are Zamazamas. Given that we're not on the ground, not have proper confirmation, but we had assumed that they're Zamazama, given that all of this action has been directed towards the Zamazamas. Not even far from here. I'm not sure if our pilot can take you then to where there's a bit of fire just on our left there at about 3 o'clock from where we are. There's a bit of fire and other community members still there, and it looks like they're finishing off the burning of the dwellings of the Zamazama. The pictures that you're seeing currently now are some of those dwellings that are situated right in the bushes, and you can see that the community is there, dozens of community members destroying whatever is left of the dwellings of the Zamazama, similar to what we saw, of course, yesterday in one of those old mining tops, as the police themselves, led by the Police Commissioner General Elias Mawela, burning those dwellings at that mine. Of course, we heard that they ran through the tunnels and the mines right inside, going into Kagiso, and of course Kagiso is where we are. I am seeing even at around 3 o'clock, my pilot, I'm going to also to try to take us there as well. At around 3 o'clock, there seems to be community also gathering there. It looks like in their hundreds. What is happening there, but we'll get a better picture now, as of course we're circulating in and around the bushes near Kagiso, where some of these mines are situated. It looks like some form of mine dump, where you see the community now, this current moment, gathering in numbers. Not sure what, if anything, they're hunting for these illegal miners, but it looks like they're definitely looking for something, trying to root them out, as we saw about a dozen of them that are naked, that are being dragged through by the community, through the bushes. Not sure where the direction of that would lead, Mfundo, but of course a concerning situation that we are seeing around, as the community of Kagiso and West Rand in majority.
All right, we seem to have lost Aviwe there, senior reporter Aviwe Mtila, just giving us the latest from the sky on what is exactly happening in Kagiso. As you would have seen there, very disturbing visuals. I understand that we have Aviwe back. Aviwe, you know, honestly, these scenes are very disturbing, all the more reason why we kept on stressing or asking where the police are, because they could have intercepted this operation. Everybody was well aware. As early as yesterday, the community of Kagiso had stated publicly that they would be looking to take matters into their own hands. One would have assumed that you would have police coming into the area, not just the entrance and exit, but being inside to ensure there's no loss of lives or even the abuse of any individuals. Just like the mayor said, at the end of the day, everybody is human, and this now has become illegal.
I guess the police had their own operations nowhere to be seen. We're seeing, of course, hundreds of the community of Kagiso in pockets of groups. They spread right around, as you're currently seeing now. They look like they're searching for something in particular. I'd assume they're searching for illegal miners, these Zamazamas, who now they have about a dozen of them. One we saw, of course, unconscious on the ground from the bird's eye view that we are giving you. But it looks like they're searching for something. Of course, it is a concerning development, Mfundo, given that we know that these Zamazamas have high-powered rifles. They have AK-47s in the exact words of Minister Kagiso, as we've been interviewing and engaging the minister in the passing days, as they themselves have arrested around 150 illegal miners. But of course, concerning, given that we don't know what might happen, we are even concerned of the retaliation, knowing these rifles that these illegal miners have. But of course, the community of Kagiso themselves say that they have had it. They've faced these illegal miners for years now, and now they're taking the law unto themselves, clearly, as we're going to try and move back and locate our pilot here trying to locate us once more where those dozen illegal miners are that we saw. Of course, they are naked. We're not sure where they've been taken, but they're being marched through the bushes here as the community themselves continue looking for whatever they're searching for and burning whatever dwellings that they then come across. It is, of course, the mining area of West Rand where all this action and activity is happening, and we're seeing them now marching. I'm going to try spot. Yes, there they are once more. The what we'd assume are the illegal miners, still naked, completely naked. Mfundo, been taken to the area now, also in the bushes here. Committee members surrounding them, not sure what's going to happen to them. They have already been beaten along this way. They've been sandbagged along this way, and of course one of them was unconscious. We're not sure where that one that was unconscious and left behind ended up being, but there were community members around where he was at that stage. Now they're being marched through, of course, the bushes in and around the West Rand area. Not sure where these community members are taking them, Mfundo, but there are hundreds and hundreds of people on the ground, different pockets, Mfundo. What you see here is just one pocket of different pockets of these groupings and community members that say they've had it with these illegal mining. Not only conducting these illegal mining illegally and the operations themselves, but the terror that they say that they've had time and again from these illegal miners.
All right, Aviwe, we'll leave it there for now. That's Aviwe Mtila out in Kagiso for us, just giving us that aerial view of Kagiso. We'll continue to give you coverage of this developing story. Do stay tuned.